Hi everyone, my name is Apalak and a warm welcome back to another episode of Tech This Week. So today we are focusing on a story that everyone's talking about. So we have Paytm in the news and probably for all the wrong reasons. So this is my download of what I've understood of this and what it means for many of Paytm users like me. So first thing first, like we all know, let me give you the lowdown on this. So RBI, which is the regulatory body for all banking, for all banks in India, has clamped down on Paytm payment banks. Very important. Please note this down. This directive is not against 197, which is the parent company of Paytm, but towards Paytm Payments Bank, right? And not the entire organization, citing serious lapses and non-compliance as per Section 35A. So obviously, the first thing that comes to one's mind is what exactly is Section 35A? So Section 35A, as per RBI, is not just any regulation. It's a very powerful tool, one might say draconian rule, which gives the power to RBI, allowing it to intervene when a bank's practices pose risk to financial stability or consumer interests. So one may wonder, what is it that Paytm did or did not do to make RBI so angry and impose a Section 35A? So what we've gathered about this story is there were persistent non-compliance and disregard for regulatory directives, and recurring of incidents of customer onboarding without proper KYC. So these are some of the reasons that have been provided, which is why RBI has cracked down on Paytm Payment Bank. Please be mindful. A lot of rumor mongering that is happening, that is RBI against Fintech, and I'll probably allude more to this latter part of this discussion. But I feel that is not the way it is. But if you look at the story in a larger scheme of things, what is Paytm Payment Bank? Paytm Payment Bank, in my view, can be considered as a classic example of a neo bank, right? Where and you have comparators of Paytm Payment Bank like Razorpay, Jupiter, so on and so forth. And the question that may come to your mind is, how come none of the others have defaulted and only Paytm has? So I think it is not probably right to implicate that RBI is against fintech as a sector as a whole. Probably not. Yes, does it impact Paytm as a whole? Obviously, because as per today, Paytm shares plummeted 20%. Right, it's a sharp decline in terms of investor confidence. Right, while Paytm obviously does not see an immediate impact on its UPI payment business, which is the larger part of their business portfolio. Almost 70% of their gross merchandise value comes from the UPI payment business. But the rest of the 30 will be impacted as their products like wallets, fastags, and the Paytm Payment Bank as a whole is concerned, right? So Paytm is now obviously trying to do its best to mitigate the risks associated, and they're trying to work exclusively with other bank partners, distancing itself from Paytm Payment Bank for its payment and financial services. Obviously, the most important obvious question for the general public is, will I be able to use the Paytm QR code scanners to transact? Short answer is yes. Users who have a UPI address linked to any external bank can continue transactions using Paytm QR code scanners, right? But like I said, very important to understand, RBI has its work cut out, right? It being the chief regulator for all banks and banking transactions that happen in our country, right? It would be wrong and improper to conclude that it's against fintech ecosystem. On the contrary, if you carefully analyze the situation, we can see that there's clearly a case of compliance violation by Paytm Payment Bank and not by the rest. So interestingly, that like I said, most neobanks such as Jupiter, and others have not faced such stringent impositions, which means adhering to RBI regulations are usually at the top of most of fintech's checklist. So if you haven't, and try to understand one simple thing, like, would it be fair for Paytm Payment Bank, which is probably not adhering to these regulations and not doing the KYC, obviously would have a competitive edge because onboarding a customer would be that much more easier vis-a-vis the others who have to follow the stringent norms. And RBI as a regulator cannot allow that to happen, right? So Paytm Payment Bank obviously came under the radar because despite multiple warnings, and this has happened for more than a year and a half now, they failed to adhere to the compliance norms set by RBI. So I think this is not in conclusion that RBI is against fintech ecosystem, not at all. It is just punishing an organization which hasn't followed the norms set out for everybody to do banking in India. That's it from my end. I'm sure there's more to follow in this story, more so in our next episode. But for now, that's it. Thank you so much.